and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make these adorable crochet ball ornaments. These are pretty easy, but last year we made some that are even easier and they're single color. So if you're brand new to crochet, you may want to start out with those. Those are really, really easy and you learn a couple of different stitches in those. This one has a couple different stitches combined. It's still not difficult, but like I said, if you're brand new, you might want to start off with the other ones. So we're going to go ahead and get started. For this tutorial, you need 3 different colors of yarn. I'm using this white, a nice hot pink, and then a lighter pink. These pinks are all from a collection that I was sent from the Fiber Genie. She does all kinds of fun pinks. She knew I loved pink, so she sent me a cute little bundle. And so I thought they'd be perfect for these ornaments. And these are the 2 that I used for this one. The other thing you're going to be needing are some round glass ornament balls. You can also use plastic. I just got these at Michael's. My little glass balls are about 2.5 inches wide. The tops pop off, and that's what you're going to need for this ornament. If you don't want to use one of these, you can also use a styrofoam ball, or you can even stuff it with pillow stuffing. I just like the ornament because since it's clear, when you hang it on your tree, the holes in the crochet allow the lights from the tree to kind of go through there, and I just think it looks a little bit more cozy and festive. So, but you could use any of those things. Now, as far as ball sizing goes, now I'm using a worsted weight yarn, but I went ahead and made half of my ball ornament. I took that with me to Michael's, and then I tried it out on the different ornaments to make sure that it would fit. And you just want it to go about halfway around your ornament, and then you know that you've got the right size. So if you're using a different size yarn or a different size hook, you might still want to do that anyways, just to make sure that your particular piece fits on the size ball that you get. Everybody's gauge is a little bit different. You're also going to need a crochet hook. I'm using a size G 4mm crochet hook. This is my Clover Armoire hook. You're also going to need some little scissors and a yarn needle. That's pretty much all you need for this tutorial, so let's go ahead and dive right in. So we're going to start off by making this center piece right here, and I'm going to use white. It doesn't really matter. You can use any color of the 3 that you want, and in the pattern the instructions tell you color 1, 2, and 3, and so you'll just want to label your 3 colors, and then when it says pull color 1, just grab whatever you've determined as color 1. So to start off, we're going to make a slip knot, and to make a slip knot you just make a loop like that, and then I just pull my tail through that loop, tighten it up, and then you can put it on your hook and then just pull your tail to tighten it. The other reason I like putting my tail through my loop is because that way when I go to tighten up the center, it pulls that nice and tight. So I like to pull my tail through. Next, we're going to chain 4. To chain, you're just going to yarn over. I like to hang on to my tail and then just pull through. So that's 1 chain, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3, yarn over, pull through 4, and you should have something like this. Now we're going to join with a slip stitch into that first chain, so just place your hook right in that first chain. You're going to yarn over and then just pull through both loops on your hook just like that, and we've created this little circle. And you're going to want to find the middle of that circle. So hopefully you can see right there is the center of my circle. I'm going to chain 2. This first chain 2 is going to count as one of our double crochets, and now we're going to do 11 more double crochets into the center of this circle. And a double crochet is a yarn over. We're going to go into that center, pull up a loop, so you have 3, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So this first chain 2 counts as a double crochet, so we technically now have 2 on there. We want a total of 12. So yarn over, go back into that center space, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, do another one, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and we're just going to continue doing double crochets into the center of our circle until we have a total of 12. And I think what you'll find now, you can start seeing the center of that circle a lot easier. It gets a little bit stretched out as you go, but when we're done we can pull on our tail and that'll tighten up that center space. And I'll usually sit here and just do a few until it looks like 12 and then I'll count, and if I need to add more or take out some I will. Okay, so here we are. So we've got that first chain, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we need 1 more. So I'm just going to scoot those apart so I can squish 1 more in there. and there's 12. And now we can take that tail and just pull on it, and it'll pull up it'll close up that center space. Now we're going to join with a slip stitch, and you can just join in this top stitch, or I actually have been joining in between, the space in between our chain and our first double crochet, so I just go into that space, yarn over, and just pull through, yarn over, and then pull through a tail, and we can just cut that first color off, and we're done with our center. So this is what our center should be looking like. You should have 12 posts all the way around the center of that circle. And now we're going to weave in our ends because I don't like dealing with ends as I go. You can also weave over them as you're crocheting, but for this project and just to be able to show you what I'm doing, I think it's a little bit easier to just weave in my ends as I go. And so I'm going to weave them all in the same. I'll show you this first one, and then I'm not going to waste time showing you how to weave in your ends after this because it's pretty straightforward. I just weave in my yarn color behind the same color. So on my white round, I'm going to weave it in behind the white. On the pink round, I'll weave in the pink yarn behind the pink. And that way you don't see it poking out. And then whichever one of these is our tail, I can grab and just tighten. And see, it tightens up that circle really nicely. And by the way, these are ornaments, so if you have a little bit of a gap there or yours isn't as tight as I got mine, don't worry about it. It's an ornament. Nobody's going to care. Just have fun with this and enjoy the process. So here's our first centerpiece. Now we're going to grab color number 2, and for me color number 2 is going to be this lovely hot pink, and I'm just going to pull out some, and we are going to do a little puff stitch in here. So find any stitch along here, and if you're new to crochet, a stitch is just both of those legs right there. So there's one stitch, there's another stitch. It doesn't matter, just pick one. I usually try not to pick the one where I tied off because there's just a little knot there and it's just kind of a pain to work over. So I save that one for later. So we're just going to go into this one. I'm going to join my new color with a slip stitch. So how I do that is I just pull through, and then I yarn over with both my ends and pull through, and then I drop my tail, and now I'm ready to move on, and my tail is also secured in that stitch. Now I'm going to pull those stitches up slightly so they're a little bit elongated because we're going to be doing little puff stitches in here. So just for this very first puff stitch, you're going to have this chain in here. The rest you won't have that. So for this very first one, we're going to yarn over, go into the same space that we're coming out of. So we're going right back into that same space. We're going to pull up a loop, and we're just going to pull up that yarn so it's as high as the stitches that we stretched earlier. We're going to do it one more time, yarn over, go into that same stitch, pull up a loop, and pull up. And you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches on your hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through all 6, and then yarn over and pull through to finish off that puff. And that's your first puff stitch done. The rest of the puffs are going to be fairly easy, and as you'll notice, I am stitching over my tail. If this tail is confusing you, just put it out of your way and weave it in a little bit later. So in the remaining 11 stitches around, we're going to do 3 loop pull-ups to make our puff stitch. So yarn over, this is 1, go in, pull up a loop, so that's 1. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, that's 2. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, that's 3. So you will have 2, 4, 6, 7 stitches on your hook, yarn over, pull through all of them, yarn over, pull through. And that's your puff stitch. And we're going to do that in each stitch around. And I'll just weave over my tail until I'm either tired of it or I run out of yarn. So I don't worry about it too much, especially for these ornaments. So again, you're going to yarn over, go into your next stitch, pull up a loop, and just kind of tug it so that it stretches up so it's taller. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull up a loop. So that's 3. And I just pull them up so they're all about the same height as I'm going around. You're going to pull through all your loops and then chain 1. And here is what your puff stitches should be looking like. So we're going to continue doing that until we're all the way around 1 puff stitch in each stitch around, and you'll have 12 puff stitches when you're done. And this just starts going really fast. So there was my 3 and chain 1. 1, 2, 3, chain 1. Very easy. You'll get into a little rhythm with this. 1, 2, 3, yarn over, go through everything, see, now my tail's starting to get in the way, so I'm moving it out. Yarn over, just chain that one right there to complete your stitch. So 1, 2, 3, voila, chain 1. Okay, so we've made it all the way around. I do like to count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, just to make sure. And then I'm going to join in the space between our first and second clusters. So right here with a slip stitch. And I like to do that because I feel like it pulls it together and it makes that first cluster look a little bit more like a cluster when you join it together like that. Now we're going to just yarn over and pull that tail through. Cut our yarn and weave in our ends. And here is what we should be having. Now you'll notice that it's starting to curl up, and if yours is like mine, it'll actually start curling up inside out. So if you look at the piece, you can see these edges on this side look just a little bit messier and unfinished. The ones on this side, you can see this nice ridge around the top. This is going to be your right side. So at this point, I'll just go ahead and help it out and curve it the way that I want it to go so that the pretty side is out. Okay, we're going to grab color number 2 now, and I'm just using this lighter pink. And for this round, we're going to be doing 4 double crochet clusters together. And so you're just going to start in any space between these clusters. It doesn't matter, so just put your hook into any one of those spaces, grab your yarn. Again, we're going to pull through and yarn over with both strands to join it. We can drop our tail, and again, we can weave that tail in as we're going. And now we're going to chain 2. So a chain is, again, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. And this is going to count as our first double crochet in our 4 double crochet cluster. So we're going to count that one as a stitch. So we're going to do 3 more double crochets in this same space. But we're not going to complete the double crochets. We're going to join them as a cluster. So to do that, we're going to yarn over, go into this space, and I'm working over my tail, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through, and stop. So you have 2 loops. We're going to repeat that 2 more times. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and stop. So now we have 3 loops. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and stop. So now we have 4 loops on our hook, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets. And now we're going to yarn over and join all of those loops together, and that's our first cluster. Now we're going to chain 1, and now we're going to complete another 4 double crochet cluster in this next space. Now, since we chained in this first one, we don't have to worry about that. We're just going to do 4 double crochets. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and stop. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and stop. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and stop. We have 3 right now, 1, 2, 3. We need 1 more. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and stop. You will now have 5 loops on your hook, the chain from your previous, and then all 4 of your double crochets. And now we're going to yarn over and pull through all 5 loops and chain 1. And you're going to be doing one of these 4 double crochet clusters in each space around, so you'll have a total of 12. So again, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pull up a loop, pull through 2, and we need 1 more. Then we've got 4, yarn over, pull through all 4, and chain 1. And I am, like I said, going over my tail as we go so that I don't have to worry about that later. And you'll know you've done enough when you have 5 loops on your hook. So you've got 1 for each of your double crochets and then 1 for that chain from your previous one. Okay, so we've made it all the way back around, and just like before, we're going to join with a slip stitch in the space between the first and second clusters. Yarn over, pull through your tail, clip your yarn, and we can weave in those ends. So we've got 3 rounds done, and we're starting to have Cute little ornament. All right, we're going to go back to color number 1 now, and we are going to be doing a half double crochet in each stitch around. So we should have 24 of those by the time we're done. Now these stitches are a little bit goofy, so I want to show you up close. You're going to have a longer stitch right here. This one, this is the one where we chained one and started the next one, and then you're going to have a shorter stitch right here. This is where you joined all of your little clusters together. You want to do a half double crochet in each one of those around. So for each of these clusters you'll have 2 stitches on top of them. So just make sure you're getting both and you should be good. And it doesn't matter which one you start in. I'm just going to start in this big one right here because it's easy for me to see. And we're just going to join the same way we've joined before. So we're just going to place a loop of that new thread yarn over our hook and pull through. And then we're going to yarn over and pull through both our tails. So that's technically, I guess, a chain 1. I'm going to drop my tail. We're going to work over that as we go. So to do a half double crochet, we're going to yarn over and we're going to go into this next stitch. And since we went into the big one, our next stitch is this little one here. You're going to yarn over and pull up a loop and then yarn over and pull through everything on your hook. Okay, and we're going to do that all the way around. So yarn over, go into your stitch. That stitch is this next one here. So now we're in a big one. So you're going to go in a big stitch, a little stitch, a big stitch, a little stitch. I'm going to go over my tail, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. So again, yarn over, go into your next stitch, pull up a loop, so you have 3, yarn over, pull through all 3. Now when you get back to the front, you'll notice that our first stitch is coming out of this big stitch. That's where we started. So we're just going to go into the top of that first chain from our first stitch and join with a slip stitch. Yarn over, cut our yarn, and weave in our end. That is what our piece should be looking like. We've got our first round, our puff stitches, our 4 double crochets, and then a round of half double crochets. Okay, and then this next round we're going to grab color number 2, so that is our hot pink. And now we are going to do a single crochet in the stitch that's directly in the center of your double crochet cluster, and then we're going to do a double crochet in the space, and that's going to give us this dropped stitch look right here. So we're going to join in one of these spaces right here. So just go ahead and grab any space, it doesn't matter. We're going to pull through a loop of our new color just like before, yarn over with both, drop your tail, and chain 1. That's going to be our first double crochet. The next stitch we're going to do is going to be a single crochet, and it's going to be in that center of our cluster. So we're just going to go right into that center stitch. We're going to pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both. That's a single crochet. And I'm going to drop my tail just so that this is not in your way so you can see what's happening here. But next we're going to do a double crochet into the space. So you're doing a single crochet on top of the cluster and then a double crochet in the space between the clusters. Double crochet again is just a yarn over. We're going to go into that space between the clusters, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, the next stitch we have here is just a single crochet, so just pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And see how we're already getting our cute little design. So we just did a single, so now we're going to do a double in this next space. So yarn over, go into that space, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. The next stitch right here on top of our cluster is just a single crochet, so go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're going to do a double, so go into that space, pull through 2, pull through 2. The next stitch on top is a single, and then we're going to do a double. And we're just repeating this all the way around. All right, now we're back, and we should have one stitch between this double and this double, so we're going to go ahead and do a single crochet there. And then we're just going to join at the top with a slip stitch. And we can pull out our yarn, cut it off, and then look, we have this fun design. You can see where our double crochets created a cute little stripe sort of, and then our single crochets in between. So I've woven in my ends, and this is what we should have now. And this is what I said to go ahead and take to the store. And I just pulled an ornament out of the box, and keep in mind that your yarn is going to stretch, but I just stretched it and made sure it looked like it was going around at least half of the ornament. And it should look something like this because your yarn will stretch a little bit as well. You don't want it too like loose. So this is what you're going after to make sure that you're getting the right ball size for your yarn size and your gauge size. All right, so now you're going to make 2 of those. So we should have 2 identical halves. And now we're going to join these together using a slip stitch or a single crochet, whatever you prefer. It's a lot easier to do it not on the ball. So I join as far as I can around before I add the ball. And when I'm lining these up, I just pick 2 of these double crochet sections right here and just try and line those up. If they get off, it doesn't really matter. It's an ornament. Nobody cares. But I do try and line those up just so it looks a little bit more cohesive. So I'm going to go into this stitch and into this stitch when I join. And I'm just going into this back loop on both of them because it's easier just to grab the one. I'm going to join using my color number 1, but you could join using any color you want. And we're just going to join with a slip stitch in those 2 stitches. So I'm just going to pull up that loop, yarn over with both strands, and pull it through. And again, I'm going to drop my tail. This time I'm going to tuck my tail inside so it's out of my way. And now we're going to join with a single crochet to join each of these stitches around. So I'm going to go through the back loop of this stitch and the back loop of this stitch. I'm going to pull up a loop and then yarn over and pull through all the loops on my hook. So here's a stitch on this one and a stitch on this one. I'm going to pick up this back leg and this back leg. This back leg and this back leg. So I'm picking up the 2 legs that are closest to each other. And if for some reason your stitches are off a little bit, don't worry about it because there'll be a hole at the top for the ornament hanger portion to stick out. And so if they're off at all, nobody will even know. Okay, so we're just going to continue joining these with a single crochet down this edge, and I join a little more than halfway. I join as far as I can and still get the ball ornament inside. It's just a lot easier to do this without the ball in there. If you're doing stuffing, you could go even farther and then just close your ball all the way up. All right, now I'm probably going to have to stop here. So before we go any farther, I'm going to take this tail from where we started and just weave this tail in. And I'm just going to go through a few here. Okay, so I've woven in that starting tail, so now I can flip my ornament back right side out. So this is what it's looking like. We've got our 2 halves joined almost all the way around, and now I've left enough space hopefully to pop my ball ornament in. And like I said, I try and go as far as I can because it's just sort of a pain once you get the ball in here. And then I'm going to push this ball top all the way over here to my starting edge, and then now I just have to finish sewing up this. And this can be sort of a hassle just because you're dealing with the glass ornament, so it's not very flexible. So how I usually do it is I'll pick up this one and then I will pick up this one. And I try and sort of hold them together when I join them so that they're not, you know, too loose. And there we go. It's just hard to pick those stitches up. So, and it should be a little bit tight. You want it to have a little bit of tension on it. You don't want a super loose casing. Okay, so we're all the way to the top. I'm definitely going to grab this last one. And now you can yarn over, and I'm going to leave myself a little bit of a tail so that I can weave this in, and I'm actually going to pick up from the other side too. So I leave a little bit of a longer tail, and you can just pull that tight. And then to finish this off, I'm going to take my yarn and I'm actually going to come through this other side over here, just like that. And then come back around the other side, and I like to go through this side as well. Okay, and then now I'm just going to tie a knot right here just to secure it. The little tail's kind of long. And to secure it, I just go through that loop twice. It's like a hockey knot. And then I'll usually just weave this end a little bit, just go back and forth to get it out of the way. And then the only thing left to do is to pop on your top. We'll just pop that on. And then if you'd like, you can put a ribbon or you can use some of your coordinating yarn to create a little hanger for it. And there we go. We've got cute little ball ornaments, perfect for your holiday tree, and you can make these in any color that you like. I'm gonna go ahead and make a few more and add them to my tree for this season. That's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to thumbs up and subscribe. You can also hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any upcoming fun. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I will see you in the next video.